please settle down. We'll start this soon. In the meantime, if any one of you wants to write a message, there is a message book and the pen left behind. So anytime in the function or at the end of the function, write a message. We'll make it available to Rafika and Siddharth and Jawahar as a fashion. So all the people who have joined online, please keep yourself muted all the time, except when you will be called to speak.
कॉलेज के हॉल में जो लोग हैं वो लोग
Your friends, colleagues, this very unique celebration of Dominic D'Souza's multifaceted life. Dominic has touched each one of us who is present here in person or who are present online. And what I'm really of us have known him for, and some of us who are here have not met him, have not worked with him, but still have heard of him, have had that respect for him. So it's really a great gathering to celebrate a very, very meaningful life. Dominic, for many of us, was a professor, a mentor, a philosopher, a guide, comrade, activist, colleague. So he's played multiple roles in each of our lives. And from that perspective, I think it is really good that we are celebrating his life in the place where Dominic became Professor Dominic D'Souza. And that's Nirmala Niketan, alma mater of many of us present in this hall and present online. So it is fitting that we open this celebration of Dominic D'Souza's life with few words from our beloved principal, Dr. Hazel Lima. So Hazel, over to you, please.
Can you hear me? Because I must tell you that I feel a little lost in this gathering. Lost because I'm crossing years and years when I met you. And I knew you as young, enthusiastic, vibrant students, always ready to collaborate, cooperate. Then you passed, and maybe for a few years I might have met you as an ex-student, but young ex-students. And today I am being introduced to grandparents. So you know how much water has flown under the bridge. And I would say even my memory. When I see the names, of course some of them are changed, but I recognize many of the names, and like a flash of a picture comes to me about who they were and what I knew about them when they were in the college. So welcome to all of you. And this welcome is also to say that I realize that relationships are relationships that we have. I have met you after years. When I met you also, we had so many things to discuss, things which we agreed upon, things which we disagreed upon. So many discussions, so many animated searching for what is the best and what should be and what should not be. But whenever I meet the students again, it's just, where are you now? What are you doing? How is your family? Are you happy with your involvement? It's just wanting to know how those who have passed from here, what they have made of their life and what they have done. And so today, when I was asked to come to this condolence meeting for Dominic, I thought to myself, when a child is born, there is a lot of rejoicing. And people say you cannot rejoice without some sweets. You have to offer sweets. What does that all that symbolize? The happiness of celebrating and welcoming a life on earth. A baby is born. There is a future which unfolds. We hope for the best. And we love to think that this baby is destined now to open another way of life for all of us. And so I thought that sometimes we are sad at the departure of an individual when the person is leaving. And I felt, no, when I received that invitation card for the condolence meeting, I was thrilled with the heading, Celebrating the Life of Dominic D'Souza. And really, that is what we have come to do, to celebrate a life. When a person is born, we are given someone for the future. When a person departs, he gives us, he or she leaves his legacy with us for the future, to animate us for our future, and hundreds of other people who have known the person. And so, when I see Dominic like this, I feel it's really worth celebrating his life and all that his life has meant for us here and for so many around. When I came to this college, I knew Dominic and Aziza. Meetings, individual encounters, following the whole timetable and structure. But in very little time, few years, they left and went. But during those years, when we had meetings, encounters, exchanges, and they were very much appreciated by the students also, I felt sad when they were going. And at the same time now, when I look at all this that has passed, I realize how, even at Nirmala Niketan, at that time when I came, I had been in all kinds of other circles. And I was coming from a conservative traditional. So when I came here, and I found everybody, not everybody, but a good number of staff and students so enthusiastic about social analysis, about Sola Linsky, about prayer, Paulo Freire, and all this. I said, my God, I have to bring myself up to date with all of this. And as a result, we had so many discussions where I said I had to defend, and they said they had to push. And we had this kind of rapport in the college. But I feel happy when I look back at it that in this college, we have the space to do that. Actually, we have very little space in this college. We are dashing the walls of the corridors when we walk. And to find a place where we can be by ourselves is so difficult. So see that Minar occupies so much space day and night. And wondering how to make place for everything in this college. When I have traveled abroad also, I've seen Finally, they have started a little college and such big room for the principal, such big rooms to do not much. And so I was really happy to think that in this little nest of NM, minds and hearts could flourish and reach out. So today when we meet, we just want to shake hands, embrace, and feel the oneness once again. We have never felt separated because of the mind going its way, let me say. So I felt the same way about Naza and Dominic. They also found the space to realize themselves in a way of intervening and reaching out, which was according to their passion and their mission in life. And they had courage to break and to go. When we start something new, and how it will go. But we have confidence in ourselves and we believe in people, the people for whom we work. And so I always heard good reports of Dominic and Nafisa's project, even though I did not have the fortune to visit them. But in the group that has come here, I don't know, there are also people who are following online, no?
Yes.
I heard that there are many from Yuva and from Daya, also the project. Who are these people? These are the people whom Dominic chose to work with. He chose them because they responded to his interest, to his desire to reach out, to give, to encourage growth. And that is why he was in touch with these people. And so I feel happy to think that our two staff and faculty members, they did not go just to search for comfort and being in a place where they would find everything. But they gave themselves, and they gave themselves so much so that even now, you know, the day I heard during the alumni meeting on the 14th of December that Dominic and Nafisa health was not at all good. I asked several people, send me a way of contacting them. And finally, Helen sent me the numbers. And because Christmas was busy, but 1st of January, I phoned with a great hope that I would be able to talk to Dominic. But I was not getting an answer. So I then tried Nafisa, and I got Nafisa. Then she told me that he's in hospital, he's having dialysis. And I said, please tell him that I ran up. And I keep that in my prayer. And then she told me about her own health, which was not good. Anyway, after the 1st of January, I was able to talk to Nafisa. And then, very, very sad, the next evening to hear that Dominic had passed away. I had hoped that I would talk to him again, but that was not the plan, and he passed away. So I thank God for them. I thank God for the spirit which motivated them to carry on and to inspire so many other people. Because I have heard that the college has also sent students for camps to their projects. And whenever I met, especially I had the chance of meeting Dominic sometimes when he would come, I was always happy with his broad smile and warm look, I would say, the warm look interested in the Nilaniketan for asking about several people whom he knew here and everything. So it might have been a few minutes, but it was enough to light up that warm flame which existed in our hearts. And I miss that warm smile of Dominic, even though he was advancing in age and probably suffering more than he showed. But it was always nice to meet them. And Navita too. And all this showed that, you know, we meet for a while. Okay, we might have a few differences here or there, and they matter to us. And we are working together. Maybe you have this method, another method, whatever it is. But we are united in what we desire, deeply in our hearts. And so I, with gratitude, that through this, the friendships and the collaboration that existed in the college, that they were motivated to do great things not just for their families, but great things to contribute to this country, to contribute to the values we need to uphold, to contribute to those whom we lose sight of in the kind of development we envisage. And so I'm just talking out of my hat, whatever is coming to me. I remember when Dominic and Nafisa in the early years, when they used to come, they were talking serious things about the administrators and accountants. And Siddharth was young, and he was always interested to know what this building is, and what this corridor, where it is going, and what is happening in that class. And so he would be loitering in the college. And I felt that I was more interested in his wanderings than sitting with the administrator. And so I would accompany him, and we became good friends. About 3 times he came and visited. So, this is what I mean, that our relationships transcend the ideologies and other things, and people as people, and they are valued for what they deeply desire and for what they commit themselves to. So, with these words, I want to say, I thank God for Dominic, and I ask for blessings on his family, blessings on all of us, and that the spirit of Nirmala Niketan, which unites us, wherever we may be, whatever we may do, may always keep us together. As I am also aging, and with age I forget, but forgetfulness is not indifference. Forgetfulness is the weakness of age, but feeling for is the desire of the heart. And that is what I feel for each of you who have come, and may it remain with us always.
Thank you very much. We'll follow this message from Hazel with a prayer from the team of Nirmal Niketan college students and lecturers. I think all of you have a slip which also has the prayer, so please take a lead.
Shall we begin with him expressing our sentiments, which will be sung by the students.
Kind of speech, actually. Together. से जुड़े हैं जल को बरसे प्रभु मैं तुझे खोज रहा वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे खोज रहा तू ही मेरी जल को वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे खोज रहा वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे खोज रहा सोना चांदी मैं तोरा वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं तुझ बन जाए शाला सुमन तुझ बन जाए शाला सुमन
Making an order from Sangeeta. Huh?
वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं तुझ मेरे वास करे तुझ मेरे वास करे पाप से शरण डरता रहूं पाप से शरण डरता रहूं क्या सारे रंग जैसे झूले जल को वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं वैसे प्रभु मैं तुझे को चढ़ाऊं
Now let's listen to the wisdom of the ages, the wisdom of the scriptures that point towards a deeper truth in our lives.
Dominic, difficult to enjoy something under the different. So, Rama Tattva Om Yom Shanti Raksham Shanti Shakti Shanti Rapa Shanti Roshaya Shanti Vanaspatayam Shanti Vishwe Devah Shanti Brahman Shanti Sarva Shanti Shanti Devam Shanti Sava Shanti Redhi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
A scripture reading from the Gospel. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. From now on, there is reserved for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who longed for his appearing.
A prayer from Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim wa'adh-dhikr. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise the Lord of all that exists, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dominic, you have gone and passed to the other world.
About this prayer, chapter 223 of the Dhammapada. Happy indeed we live, who have no attachments. We live without clinging to anything, and we are free from all fear.
A reading from a poem by Ralph Emerson. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent men, people, and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you, Dominic, have left it. This
Concluding prayer, Lord of all creation, today we remember with deep gratitude the life and work of Mr. Dominic D'Souza. His dedication to serving the marginalized and uplifted has left an indelible mark on all of us. We thank you for the kindness, the compassion, and the dedication he shared with the world through his selfless work in academics at Nirmala and also the social sector through Yuva and Laya, and especially with the tribals in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you for the gift of his presence among us, for the love he shared, and for the good he did. May we who are gathered here, his family, his loved ones, find comfort in our shared memories and strength in our unity. Guide us, Lord, to follow the example by spreading love, joy, hope, and kindness wherever we go.
Thank you, staff and the students of the Dominic. I think it is most appropriate to begin the tributes by inviting Dominic's colleagues who work with him. And I'm sure somebody like Farida Lambe welcomed him when he joined College of Social Work. Just to share a few thoughts with us.
Looking on the right, your right, because they're taking on system.
Yeah.
Just come to your right. Here, before the camera.
Yeah, okay.
That's.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Very difficult for me to talk about Dominic in the past. I can't say about Dominic, and Dominic was like that. Because I know all of us have to go one day. But this was sudden. And one remembers Dominic right from my old days. And I myself was a young faculty here at Kochi. And we both lived in Kulava. We lived in a building called Ruby Terrace, and I lived in Lilliput. And we were just some, footsteps away. And when we came to Nirvana, I think what clicked was the Kulava field. And older days we used to call it Sobo, So I think that clicked with me and Dominic. And just to walk down from home here, sometimes go from here to home. At the time, Dominic was not in the picture, so I think I was influencing him for many things and telling him a good things about college. And as you know, that Dominic loved food, and my mother liked him a lot. My parents, in fact, took to him. He used to come to our place quite often, and he used to like prawns. He used to like particular chicken that my mother made. And Dominic, with the food that he liked, he was never shy to say that, पहले एक घर से लेकर आना है भात बनाओ. And I loved it. But I think I was overdoing it a little bit. So he used to scold me once in a while, but I like to ignore something. Having said that, he's been an excellent professor, he's been an excellent colleague. Lata, Vimla, Tenaz, his team to a certain extent, myself, the toxic letter, money. But as faculty, Lata, Villa, and us, we shared a lot in common, and of course, nothing was there. And those faculty meetings, in Hazel was trying to say some things, but I will break it up for you. That those faculty meetings were something I wish we had a video or a mobile those days. In those faculty meetings was something that I didn't know we needed to experience. Because there used to be innumerable debates on what is development. Until now, I really don't know what is development. So having said that, but Dominic kind of decodified everything about development, and these are so many. And the beauty of all this was that once you get out of the faculty meeting, you are very good friends. There are lovely relationships among us. So I what is it? And I'm sure Hazel again. And what I want to agree that college was working in a kind of a welfare mode. What Dominic and Nafisa and the kind of work that they started brought in from charity to what we call today sustainable development, empowerment of people. So from welfare charity, we were coming to the rights perspective. And I can tell you, it was very, very difficult. But we did it all. And I'm very proud to say it was a part of that entire golden gang, as we call it. Then came Minar, and there came money, and there came the famous projects of Hanuman Tree and Slum and Utopia. I don't go on because I can go on. I know Minar has told me only 2 minutes, I've already exceeded that, sorry. But Dominic was a person who believed in what he said, and I really feel he was an embodiment of the value that we held very close to our heart, that social work cannot be taught in classrooms. Social work, if you want to do social work, you need to know what are the ground realities. And it can't be only the urban work. It has to be rural, it has to be the most vulnerable. I personally learned a lot from him. He had lots of things to say about the famous municipal school project that we initiated. But I used to take some things here and some things there. But that arguments and the ability to agree to disagree, I think was enormous as far as Dominic is concerned. He's contributed, and you are starting here, and now of course it has reached heights. But it was Dominic and Nafisa, and of course really so the fields of UI here by looking at the character course that we started. And I'm grateful that I was also part of that foundation. Rajni Paranjali is not here, but one cannot forget Rajni's contribution in all that I'm talking about, especially with Dominic and Nafisa. I just want to end by saying that we're all celebrating this. We are started by the fact that he suffered, but I think that's the way his destiny was. I just want to end my reflections by Mark Twain's little poem I was reading. It's not the years of your life that count, it is the life in your years. What you leave behind is not something which is engraved in stones, but what is woven into the lives of others. And whether it is you or whether it is Maria, whether it is many people, I think Dominic's reflection is there. He has made a difference in people's lives. And lives are like a river. Eventually, they go where they must. Thank you.
Thank you, Varida. Thank you very much. And surely you want to say a few words. We have heard somebody who has worked with Dominic at a much earlier stage, and it may be a good idea to also hear from a younger faculty, if I can call it younger Varida, without upsetting you.
Just telling Vinara that I won't talk because I'm sure there are so many here who would like to say something and share. Dominic was my teacher. I mean, though many of you now wouldn't believe me, but he was my teacher. And that many students would say it was, and he was also my faculty advisor. So there were many interactions that we had, and these were really something that I treasured deeply. Many students here and who were his students would probably say that he was kind, he was warm-hearted, he respected people, he appreciated, what they did, and he was also, he encouraged us to do our best, to be better than ourselves, not better than somebody else. And so this was what Dominic wants to all of us. I wouldn't really want to take much of your time, but I just would like to share one incident which showed how he was, besides of course being an intellectual, being a person who had so many ideas, he was a person he was a fun kind of a person. And so once we had this opportunity of traveling to Kerala, and I was not even in the college, I was working at the Bombay University then, and we traveled to Kerala by a second class train. And well, there were some co-travelers with us, and they were not really very friendly. So Dominic looked at us and he said, "You see, train travel is like arranged marriage." So you're wondering why he was saying that. I said, "See, we don't know who our companions, what our companion, who our companion is, but we are stuck with them till the journey is over." This is what Dominic was, and he would be humor in anything. As Ravinda very rightly said, he was a foodie. He loved good food. He also cooked well and also shared recipes. You won't believe that, but in our group, he would send us recipes which I tried out, which I think even Dr. Desai tried out, of pork and prawns and prawn biryani and things like that. So he was that kind of a person. He was also a person who respected different cultures, different religions. And therefore, without taking much of a time, I would like to share with you a small, he sent us a poem by Walt Whitman from Leaves of Grass, which I thought embodied what we really believe, in terms of this understanding of what is happening today. The religions of the world are humanists in their individuality, and they have valuable social and soul-making functions. Surely someday we will quit killing each other over their different strategies. Argue not concerning God. Re-examine all you have been told at church or school or in any book. Dismiss whatever insults your soul. I think these are just we really miss Dominic, but we
Thank you very much. I'm now inviting Lata, who is coming here with multiple responsibilities because she also was one of the board members with you when you are starting with Dominic. She is presently also board member of Laya. She was also his colleague as a lecturer in the university. So, from many of those perspectives, Lata.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Like Vinay said, we were together in NN, we were together for some time in Yuva, and much longer in Daya. Two words I can say for him from my own overall experiences is compassion, embodiment, and he's authentic. His compassion was not about soft writing, never. He could be firm, he could look with but not bordering on sarcasm. Okay, so this is really what I've learned from him for all this time. Farita's talking about the group and what we had and all. I just want to point out, he was very significant in that group for many years because he was the only male. Okay, he was strong, women, held our views, fought, but I think he had a lot of the socialization of enemy and energy from that group. Whatever he did, he accepted us. He also just took him. I mean, he was there. He had his say, he made his point, but we were equally strong and we made our points. But we had that outer me. I don't want to be gender this thing, but feminine energies, which say, supposing Farita's on one side and I'm Dominic in the middle and I'm on the other side. I just like her sari. After the meeting, not before the meeting. I turned down and saying, lovely sari, where did you get it from? And Dominic would do. I think after some years, he started contributing or something about jewelry. And like parents said, Our lunchrooms were full of recipes. Miss Lisa, Asha, all of us sharing recipes. Hey, what is the pickle you're making? And all that and Dominic was part of it. So I think a lot of this convenience socialization happened in that corrections too. He was a great professor. And that grade seems to be, needs to be qualified because everybody got it, okay, in the class. For some, people got some of it. And for some, gold, and they all knew it was precious. They all knew the information was excellent. But now what to make of it, if you are left to make the reflection and a decision, and you have to decide what to make of that definition. Well, it was left to each person. And from that point of view, he was a real teacher, not a teacher, real facilitator of it. That's my NN experience. Laya, I go to Laya because you are mentioned. Laya, in the board meetings and things like that, he would sometimes be very strong, push a point, but then very often Nafisa would say, now we have another point, kind of this thing, he would kind of respect you and also get into arguments, but he was very much part of that. And even if he had differences, he would state it clearly, quietly, firmly, not give up his point, argue it till the end. And sometimes we would say, okay, now you made your point, now let others also make it. Like somebody said, he loved food, and in a way, he this thing. He made a trip to Goa at the end, and he binged on prawns, and that might have contributed. I mean, we don't know, but he loved his food until the end he ate what he wanted. So thank God. And I remember in Gaya we had a 60th birthday celebration, which is a surprise for him. And we had a board meeting and the management team came. There was a cake in the morning for the meeting. And by afternoon, we started getting a little annoyed with Nafisa because he said, what is this? Nothing else is there for me. All these people have come from farm. You should have done something more. And she didn't want to have how to say that there's a surprise part from the terrace of the evening. So she said, no, we have board lunch, dinners and we what board? I mean, literally this board is there, but what about the people and who is with us? Then in the evening, of course, when he took them in but he's done, but he reported that, he reported that. He's done because he couldn't understand why the team and everybody were not celebrating. Because they were there with us in the tough time towards the end. But we had a precious 2 days with him because Nandini, our CEO, called a special strategy meeting. I'm forward looking. That was on the 20th and 21st of December. And and one of us came. 13 of us, 14 we were there together. And in spite of and Lisa and Dominic, but they both were there fully for the full 2 days. And we moved into the hotel, all of us, including them, so that in case they needed, they could go back. But it never happened. And it was so precious. We met everybody, we all met, we had a lovely time together. I want to make special, after that, of course, it's related. I want to make special mention of 2 people who have really supported, who have been there like a rock. One is Siddharth. Siddharth, of course, with his son, we say, oh, that's the responsibility. But Siddharth has been there for both of them throughout. He was going through his own issues, own concerns, looking at the organization. And really, Siddharth, really appreciate your presence in a way that nobody can imagine. Another person I want to mention is the chauffeur of Laya, Mahesh. He was there every moment of the day for Dominic. And Dominic was so comfortable with him. Whether his medicines were taken, whether there was a stock of medicines in the hotel, whether his food was prepared for him, he would fight with the hotel people and say, and Dominic was so comfortable. And something made a mention, Mahesh is like Hanuman to Ram. He was literally there for him, and Mahesh, I don't think you're here, but you're precious. We all remember Dominic And actually, when I came into the building, I saw that festive atmosphere, and I said, wow, what a good building. This is what college is about, and this is what Dominic would have loved. Dominic, I just want to thank you. I'm extremely blessed and grateful that the universe thought that it should be part of my journey of life. And thank you for being here, for all of you.
Thank you, Lata. As you some of you would know, we tried to collect the memories in the form of videos and writings for Dominic. So Byron has been Byron has compiled together. So we will show that video, but also have to remind you there's a message book. So please, if you want, give a message, family especially. Please write before you leave the message for the family. So let's get the video going, please. About the challenges that we keep thank you, investors.
Take the second one.
Maybe we continue with the celebration, and we will share the video or we can take at the end of the session, rather than just spending time. So as I said in the beginning, Dominic had multi-faceted engagements. So one of his engagements was with asking, and we have Anita, who was a student, has been We worked very closely when he was a board member part of it. So may I invite Anika to share her reflections on Dominic.
Thank you for that. See all the this document. I think those are, I would say, the most formative years. Many other people and many other processes, primarily my transformation to Nafisa and Dominic. Nafisa as my teacher of formal education and Dominic as my field supervisor when I was placed for field work in the Vanalekar project in Gurgaon. Now that was in the early 80s. After that, for the next 20-25 years, my association with Dominic and Nafisa continued to different project engagements, different activities that Abhivekti, Laya, and then you are also did together. And I remember those days of Anubhav Shiksha, the network for youth engagement. I remember Dominic care designs project of Abhivekti, where he allowed us space and the lab to come to Laya, to come to Aradikala, to try out different, eco-friendly designs as we call them. So that continued for about 2 decades. And then in the year 2009 was a friendship and association that really got grounded with Dominic. That was the year that I was invited by ASPE, thanks to the team sitting here, to join coordinating the regional program called Training for Transformation. And that was also the year in 2009 where Dominic got elected as a board member of ASPE. And elected not for 1 term, but 2 terms in a row. So it gave us 8 years of new and thank Providence, I can't thank the universe for giving me that opportunity to work so closely with Dominic as a colleague and as a fellow traveler. We traveled to so many countries, organizing training programs, organizing policy forums on education, writing papers, publications on topics and themes of his, which was very passionate about. It was adult education, education for sustainable development, education for indigenous people, and it was really a blessing. It was really a moment that I still cherish. Now, ASPE, as Minar mentioned, is the Asia South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education. And it's a regional organization that has membership in 30 countries of Asia and the Pacific. It being such a complex in the sense of cultural diversity, Dominic was one of the most favorite amongst all our membership across the region. He brought so much enlightenment in conversations. He brought joy in the process of learning. And I would say that he also brought in a lot in the work that we did together. He touched so many lives in ASPE. And I think since the news since 2nd of January, I've been receiving so many messages, so many phone calls. Right from Afghanistan to down under in the Pacific, expressing hope that Dominic has left us. I think there are so many memories that have been built around the relationships that we established, the lives that we touched with diverse people across the region. My daughter, who's also his friend, and I think she's crying. When I broke this news to her, she said, "Amma, nobody is immortal. Everybody has to go one day. But people like Dominic, who stood by his principles, who stood by his values, I think we should embody his legacy. He should not sit and cry, but he should actually celebrate and recognize that. And I think as I stand here, I commit myself to paying forward everything that I learned from Dominic. Many times when I introduced Dominic in raspberry meetings, I used to say, amongst all the other things, he was my teacher in social work. But I learned very little about social work from him. I only learned a lot about life from him. And that is so, so true as I reflect back on all my days in my adult and professional life. It's different now. But whatever said and done, I think I just missed on it.
As I mentioned in the beginning, we have people who have worked on for close to 50 years. There are people in the hall who have not met, but have heard of it. We write John from Center for Education and Documentation, where he's seen Dominic from being a board member of the NPV to even network of ethics and climate change. So multiple roles. It's only one of those who have seen Dominic for many, 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 many years. And many of us have been the fellow to have this with John, please.
Thank you, Vinod. Hi, Dominic. I know you always said it like it was. And behind that external cynical self, there was a very soft heart. Meaning, you really engaged everyone. When I see Vinod and I see all of them, those who are in the Spade project, those who are in the Smile Fellowship, how you started in all, in being in ideas, how you started in all, only could get an opportunity to start what they wanted to. In fact, it's very strange. I was standing just there about 2 months ago when they had this Nirmala Niketan Mother mentioned Dominic, Nina, and Vilma earlier group in this class. And that's when I mentioned you. I said that, told the students that even though nowadays, okay, we have all the organizations that have been set up and you're all thinking of getting good jobs in different organizations, form your own organizations and be friendly with each other even afterwards. Minas will be testament to the fact that the kind of friendship that you, Walter, all these guys had set up lasted and weathered through this whole 50 years. And my taking from you is the way in which you set it all up. You were always there. And I'm very fortunate that, okay, they're part of INEC also, which is the climate change thing, which again, Vinod and all were there. But after that, I was a part of our Dharma group, which was more of a spiritual, Buddhist reflection thing. And that's when I actually could feel in your sharings, right from your old days at the Padre Old that Dominic used to do, you shared some of it. You're reading the bravery in the always of Dominic College. And how you shared that with us, it made me think, whenever I pass by Colaba, I was almost close to Colaba, I passed by your place. So that's when I really can feel. And we'll miss you. Because that part, that thing of being able to share that little kind of bond, that spirituality which is beyond religion, which is beyond, God and things like that. So I'm very glad that we can close with this. I'm very glad that we have come back to the Jordan River. I, as John, probably baptized, whatever. In your incarnation, in your 30, 40 days after you passed, one of the stops has to be in the River Jordan, where you will tell your disciples, go forth, go to the poorest of poor, and be with them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank God for the touching memoir. I requested that we should start serving the tea in the room. when we start taking on any impromptu tributes that we may have online, as well as people in the room who may want to share their impressions about Dominic. So let me check. In the way, are you still with us? Because as you know, multifaceted work. Yeah, it's because of the internet connectivity. Yes. Yeah. Can you hear us? If you can just say thumbs up, then I can know on. Okay, Suresh, you are okay. So I was going to request Indri because as some of you would remember, Dominic was part of initiating what was called a Murpan project in the College of Social Work, which then became one on occasion. And then I will leave it to Indri to elaborate the story of that process. Kishore Deshpande, who was the earlier team of starting that project, also wrote a very kind of powerful reflective memoir which has gone to my to as part of the collection of various memories. So, Indri, can you please share your thoughts on that?
It is really very difficult to say anything from. Can you hear me? I don't understand whether you can hear me. So it is really difficult. But the only thing I wanted to say, and I said I had the opportunity to say this to Dominic also very recently, because in between for about 20 years we had no contact as such, although we knew what each of us were doing. But as Yuva or SB or Abhivyakti or Laya, those who were together on boards and as committee members and as people who shared their meetings and all that, I was in Mumbai, but still I was involved in such kind of activities, maybe because of which I was not in touch. But all those days I felt like, I don't know whether you'll get my feeling from it, but it is like, I felt like Ekalavya. Incident in Murbad where we faced difficulties, or which single situation when I did not know what Dominic would have said, what Dominic would have done in this kind of a situation. And I always thought of those learnings that I had got from Nirmala Niketan and while being with Dominic. So although we were not in touch so closely for maybe last 20 years, only recently for last 2-3 years we came back again in touch. But still those days I was like the student Ekalavya, and I knew that there was a guru sitting there, and anytime I needed a suggestion or advice, he was there. So I will miss his being there, but I still have his being there somewhere with all those thoughts and all those teachings that he gave or he shared when we were together working and when we began work in Murbad. Thank you everybody for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Indri. Thank you very much. I know there are some people are having difficulty connecting online and so, but if there are other people who want to share, because I see so many cases who Dominic has touched during his life. If anybody wants to share, please let us know or raise your hand. In the meantime, I have to come back to the room and invite them. So again, a range of people. So we have Nancy with us with work with Dominic. When you are all part of from various standpoints. Nancy, share your feelings, and then I come upon Nasri after Nancy.
Francis had said once. He said, when you leave the earth, economic has left this earth with the glory. And first time to see any partner. That's the first time. He considered as a
make the dream come over the beach. Because it feels strong enough, really. We can imagine 50 years ago, young man, and you are 15, had broken his leg. And it's such an uproar. And she was reflecting what she will come from you. That is just or not. You don't believe that everybody's life is scripted at first. Which community you belong to, which caste you belong to, which soul you belong to. Almost your script is written on you. How is this work? How do you go to Dubai? How do you how is that? Tries to say no. I'm going to go off the beaten track. There's no track of it. Beaten track means there is some, but there's no track. By the way, in the 70s, there were no NGOs. There was no answer to NGOs. Young man decides, I'm going to do something with my life. He tries the preschool, it does not work for him. He takes a big decision of giving it up. His mind is not ready to give it up. Huge amount of pain is stored in making this decision. Because right now, you can think of, okay, Dominic has done this and that. But I'm just going back to the to go in the young man, trying to grapple with why am I here on earth? What is the meaning of my life? What should I do with my life? And there is no path. But he decides one thing, I'm going to do something different. And you can carefully, all from Kolaba, from and goes to other situations. That's the life of tribal all over the world. And man, you were talking about how he starts the life of so many people all over the world. This is the meaning of moving away from the people path. And that's what Dominic did. And Siddharth, I don't know whether you can hear what I'm saying, but your father has left you such an legacy that is much more important than any amount of profit your father has given you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you very much. Asmin? And after.
I'll just be very brief. Just to say that I had known Dominic over many, many years. Good fortune, the opportunity, and the honor, I would say, to have actually stayed with him and interacted with him very closely in Mumbai, in East Godavari district, in Visakhapatnam, and of course in some of the ASPE workshops that we attended together. I met him first as a student, and one of the most impactful aspects that I would like to share with you all is after we finished, after I finished my graduation, so we had become MSWs, and there was this great urge to now find the work that we wanted to do and get a job and start earning our expenses and our pocket money, and so all those things were in our mind. And Dominic actually came to us, 3-4 of us, because we just didn't know what we wanted to do even after having finished MSW. And he said, why don't you take time off and spend some time in the villages amongst the most marginalized and really learn what it is like to live that kind of life of poverty. And so there were 3 of us, and he and Abhita had just moved to East Godavari district. They had just gone there, and he just took that plunge, and literally, he threw us into the deep end. We didn't have any agenda. He didn't make any plan for us that so this is your task, or this is your assignment, and this is what you will do. There was no timetable. That he just had to just experience what it living over there. and we could not, of course, see him for weeks together. We had to figure out our food, where we would stay, and then off and on he would come and visit us and just say that, are you all okay? And we just knew that, though he had sort of left us in this very, very, unstructured sort of experience, but he has not forgotten us. He could definitely had something in his mind in terms of where he what kind of experience he wanted us to go through. And I think that was very, very significant. Some of my friends who work with us, one of them is in the US, one of them is in New Zealand, and we were all talking about this particular experience. And finally, I just would like to say that, I think what I admire most about Dominic, and I would also like to take this opportunity to pay a tribute to Lavisa, because I admire them both as, partners in this, as of course their life journey, but also in the short journey of, they lived their life as an experiment and committed to the cause that they really believed in. And of course, I mean, all of us know it was very hard, but I think, also showing that exuberance and, rising above it all, go ahead, was very, very inspiring. And I would just like to express my prayers and solidarity to the family and the workers that I will definitely.
Thanks, Rasmi. We have Siddharth who will be speaking once with the reflections from the team. We hear from Siddharth. But in the meantime, Kami Vingaraj, who is known from UR days, and then Jalindra Arsule, and then Nitin. And then we will close if that's okay, and then we get Siddharth before we get back. Manisha, you want to say a few words? Okay? To keep it brief, I know everybody wants to share. Nancy, Shyam, anything?
मतलब ट्रेनिंग है वो पूरा युवा का याद आता है इससे ही तुमने हमारी फैकल्टी वर्क सब पुरानी बातें याद आती हैं मैंने बहुत से लोगों ने बोला मैं सिर्फ मेरे कुछ अनुभव बोलूंगा युवा के साथ 33 साल में रहा और उसी वक्त गांधी के साथ रहने का मौका मिला उनके साथ नजदीक मेरी जो बढ़ गई वो 2005 से बढ़ गई जबकि कम्युनिटी यूनिट ने हमने शुरू किया और उसकी पहली मीटिंग अहमदाबाद में हमारे सबकी मीटिंग हुई तो उस दौरान मुझे लैब को विजिट करने का मौका मिला था 10 दिन वहां पे मैं रहा था तो मैंने जो डाउनी जी को देखा है कि जिंदगी के सफर में कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिस पीठ पे हाथ रखते हैं तो ऊंचा आ जाते हैं इस इकोनॉमी पे दूसरी बात है कि हर एक विषय को विभिन्न अंगों से देखना सभी को साथ में लेके जाना और दूसरी बात है कि इतनी उम्र होने के बावजूद भी एक नौजवान का जीना इस प्रकार से डोमिनिक और अच्छे पेड़ सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है ये सभी अंगों को मैंने डोमिनिक से देखा है और पहले मैं जो यहाँ पे खड़ा हूँ मेरे जो भी डेवलपमेंट में उनका काफी बड़ा कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है गोदावरी जी जब उन लोग वहाँ पे गए थे तो कम्युनिटी का स्किल प्राप्त तो नफीसा डोमिनिक करुणा वहाँ पे सब लोग की पूरी टीम थी वो सब खत्म होने के बाद गाँव में हर लोकल रीति में उनके बारे में जो सम्मान और जो प्यार देखा वो काफी जोड़ने वाला समझाने वाला था तो ऐसे व्यक्ति जो है कि बहुत में काफी मैं तो नसीबत समझता हूँ ऐसे व्यक्ति का मुझे मौका मिला उनके साथ रहने का मौका मिला मैं मेरी परिवार की ओर से मेरे दोस्तों की ओर से उनको श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ और दूसरी बात है कि वही जो मूल्य उन्होंने दिए हैं नौजवान पर बाहर आ जाता है शुक्रिया
I don't know if the Jalindra was a study because they got together or not, but the Jalindra has worked pretty closely. In fact, my journey started with Dominic when I was admitted here as a student. He interviewed me for my semester, and then we continued. If you are development, I think everybody is aware about that subject. And secondly, we taught me social planning and modeling. But beyond that, I remember a company for the camp. One was in Odisha and another was in Andhra. People development project, Rambam project was there. And both the time when I was traveling with him, but I I don't remember even now. Never got any time impression that I'm not the faculty member. Whenever we visited different projects, different organizations, always he introduced me in one of my colleagues. And that greatness, I think, only he can have. Another experience with him that I think, as Munaf shared, that we started around 1981 and 82. We started, I think, for the Ambedkar mentioned about Yuva and the Dowling Nagar project and Boulevard project. If somebody remembers the name of these projects, like one and Chetan, that was Boulevard project, and another was Dowling Nagar project, which was named later as a BCDP, Bombay Slum Citizen Development Project. And this name was suggested by Dominic because he was so creative and so clear about certain things, and that immediately gets the idea that what he was thinking. And beyond that, during all 3.5 years, because he was a student and continued in 1984. And Rafila was teaching that community organization for BSW2. As soon as Rafila left, that subject came to me. And we went, I went there out in Malad and I asked them, do you want to say something because I'm going to discuss subject in future? And I was so surprised that Dominic told me that you are enough in the world. Don't try to create students like you. They are sharp enough. They know what to do and how to manage and handle their mark system and other things. Your job is to just teach them because they are quite clear what they want to know. And looking at his relationship and his understanding, because I still remember that first subject and planning and policy, and then other project which is acting money with that. We have to fit in the Boulevard, the project, strategic planning, and all of things. And his understanding about everything so beyond, sometimes and we cannot able to really understand what he means about a certain thing. Either it is tribal problem, either it is urban problem, or maybe whatever we were quite well with the education system at the last. And I think Dominic will remember, not only as a friend, but he was a great intellectual. He gave us what we call the macro analysis approach. And he will go round, and finally you will find that what exactly he was trying to say. Because I remember his, the writing at the board here was somewhat there, somewhat. And that time we were just coming from the urban area and not understanding everything about the English. But we used to write down everything and then actually he was talking something about poverty. He was talking something about education system at large. So that, and finally, another important thing about him, because we, again, as I mentioned, that we were coming from rural area, and that time we were allowed to write paper in Marathi. First year, and I think second year also we wrote in Marathi. And when people understand certain words, he used to call us, and he asked us to, and then one or two sentences. Very good. And we get so surprised, but that was his way of teaching. He will always encourage people to think and he will not discourage. Even sometimes we used to say something other, but still he will say, oh, go ahead. So he never demotivated anybody. And I think with that, the people who should go place with Boulevard project or even PhD for quite a long time, I think he was always encouraging basically students from rural area, not only rural area, but basically the students reach the educational level. So I think Dominic has created a great influence on me of us. And for that, I really thank him. And I think this type of thing should continue. And
thank you very much. We're just coming to the close, but I don't want to deny the opportunity. Yeah, I want to give the message. We're going to save, especially because of the challenges we have had on online, all the comments which have come on the online are going to be saved and shared in the family. So last but not the least, we are thinking will share his reflections briefly, and then we conclude by asking the question. Siddharth.
Thank you, Vinay, and I really believe. So I was not ready to talk, but then I looked at this image and I thought that the photographer has got the right spirit. What do you remember from that? Is carefulness. There is this voice down there, and the childlike quality we as adults we lose. So Dominic has that childlike quality. Because it told me to believe in yourself. whatever you have. And that's how Dominic was. And I would like to thank him for, believing in all of us, his students, his colleagues. So thank you, Dominic. And on behalf of community, on behalf of NSW class, on behalf of all the students who were there in the 80s, we are indebted and we would like to keep this image in our minds as it is. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share something? I know people have come from all the way from Gwalior and other places, so I just want to make sure that. Okay, so thank you very much. Now I would like to request Siddharth. As you would know, Siddharth is not only son of Dominic and Nafisa, but also now the executive director of Playa, the organization that was co-founded by Dominic and Nafisa. And Siddharth is walking into the road in that sense. I think it's really important to also hear from Siddharth, not just as a son who has learned from his father and his mother, but also as a person who is looking into the future. So Siddharth, over to you, please.
Thank you, Minad. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so I think, well, first, thank you for all the, sharing that you all have done, because, I was already quite emotional about everything. For you all, he was Dominic. For me, he was Dad. That was what it was. I think for many of you who don't know, we were also colleagues for 20 years. We worked together. And so I can relate to all of you all in terms of what you are sharing, because for me, he was always there. So this is a bit, hard now that he's not with us anymore. But for me, I think he will always be there, around and omnipresent in so many ways. I think for me also, and I have especially to thank College of Social Work in Niketan, because I was running around there when I was 4 or 5 years old. I have very vague memories of it, but I think my learning probably started already, because if I've entered into these classes, I must have learned something. So if I am where I am today, it's all because of you all. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for this, share your wonderful journey with him. I share it with you as well. And also a special thanks and Myron, who have actually facilitated this. So for me, for my family, I thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Yep. That's it.
So friends, and then we space available for us to inform, chat, and interact with you.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Dominic is his smile, his warmth, and his genuine care and concern for everyone around him. Every time we met, he would ask about my son, who has some developmental and medical issues, and he would always be very happy to know that he's with that always brought a new perspective, a fresh perspective to things that we were discussing. You will be missed, Dominic. Rest in power.
Mumbai. So since then, last 40 years I have been associated with him. So what I understood is about him is like a lot of cultural sensitivity and his stand for the individual rights and the traditions. Personally, I considered him not just a mentor, but one of the closest friends with me. He was always there to me to provide the guidance, which was valuable and from the genuine perspective. Dominic's contribution to organizations with whom I associated was UR Rural Association, INEC, where I found that he helped boards participants and of course to bring the community's perspective. He was a lifelong learner and always curious to ask the thoughtful questions. His appreciation for diversity was truly inspiring. I will forever cherish his memories about his wisdom, love, and guidance. Dominic, I will always remember you with the deepest respect and gratitude. And of course, to bring the community's perspective. He was a lifelong learner and always curious to ask the thoughtful questions. His appreciation for diversity was truly inspiring. I will forever cherish.
As a student and then as a colleague. My name is Dr. Cooper Neil Patel, and I had the honor of knowing both of them for many years. Like I said, first as a student and then as a colleague.
You mute this. Okay, so the video will be sent to the various groups that it was circulated, and also it's a YouTube on the YouTube, right? So just it will be saved also on the YouTube and shared on the YouTube. So all of you can look out for the feeds. Some of you are on live Facebook will pick up the feed from there and circulate beyond. So that will be good. So can we have the song, please? And following the song, we will observe a minute of silence, and then we'll close this part so that we can interact with more. Please. I think there won't be a problem. No, thank you. Close here. So I think let's close the song. Yeah, the song. Give another 30 seconds. It's staying very online. I'll close it at the right time. I will. Song is Gandhiji's. The song is by Gandhiji. Very popular. Thank you very much. Can we stand up for a moment? Yeah, if people to sit, you can sit. It's a moment of reflection, water of compassion, to close your eye, bring reflection and the memories of Dominic in the present. Thank you. Thanks.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Dominic is his smile, his warmth, and his genuine care and concern for everyone around him. Every time we met, he unfailingly would ask about my son, who has some developmental and medical issues, and he would always be very happy to know that he's doing well. Dominic was one of the most compassionate persons, one of the most kind persons I have come across. And he had this amazing ability to put himself in the other person's shoes, and that always brought a new perspective, a fresh perspective to things that we were discussing. You will be missed, Dominic. Rest in power.
I met Dominic in 1985. It was in Andhra Pradesh, where Yuva and Naya had organized National Youth Camp. And I was a participant as one of the youth from the slums of Mumbai. So since then, last 40 years I have been associated with him. So what I understood is about him is that he has a lot of cultural sensitivity and his stand for the individual rights and the traditions. Personally, I considered him not just a mentor, but one of the closest friends with me. He was always there to me to provide the guidance, which was valuable and from the genuine perspective. Dominic's contribution to organizations with whom I associated was Yuva Rural Association, INEC, where I found that he helped the boards to bring the participatory governance and of course to bring the community's perspective. He was a lifelong learner and always curious to ask thoughtful questions. His appreciation for diversity was truly inspiring. I will forever cherish his memories about his wisdom, love and guidance. Dominic, I will always remember you with the deepest respect and gratitude.
Dominic and Nafisa were an important part of the fabric of Nirvani Ketan when I first came to know them, first as a student and then as a colleague. Hi, my name is Atokshi Cooper Nee Patel, and I had the honor of knowing both of them for many years, like I said, first as a student and then as a colleague. They were fantastic mentors. Nafisa was my mentor, and by default, so was Dominic. I remember his sense of humor and his sharp intelligence. Once, Mani Mistry, Nandini Narula, and I decided to play a trick on him. We used to think of him as a big shot. So we told him he was BS. And he was racking his brain, trying to figure out what that meant. In the end, we took pity on him and we told him that he was indeed a very big shot. Wherever he went, he brought light and insight into all the experiences we had as social workers. I will always remember him and Nafisa very fondly for being excellent colleagues and mentors. And I also had the pleasure of knowing their sweet son Siddharth when he was born, up to the age of about 6 when I moved away to the US. May Dominic's soul rest in peace. Thank you.
I have been lucky to have had numerous opportunities to work with Dominic in different capacities, and each time it was very enriching and a great pleasure. One thing unique about Dominic was that even in the most difficult situation or hardship, he found space to have activities which would help all of us relax and which surely prevented burnout. And I could see the same spirit when I met him in December, in spite of the repeated visits to the hospital. We could not see any frustration on his face. He participated actively in the meeting, stayed throughout, and was very alert in the meetings. Not only that, post-meeting stayed back with us, chatted with us, enjoyed food with us, and that's the spirit of Dominic, of never say give up, in work or in personal life, till the last day.
Dominic D'Souza was a visionary. His work has inspired my own path and led me to do my PhD in the field of sustainability. Dominic had a very clear understanding of the need for sustainability and research in this area much before I was even born. And it's his work, his data-driven work, and his ideas that we have to focus on research that inspires me and has inspired so many other people to work in this field. I regret I cannot share my thesis with him, but I dedicate my work to his memory and to the vision that he has championed for all these years. Dominic, you will be missed, and thank you for the work you have done and the paths you have created so that we may work on it. Thank you.
I am Bulliya, working in Laya, based at Attathegala in Allu Sitaramaju district. My journey with Dominic begins in 1985, nearly 40 years ago. And I can confidently say that I have learned so much from him. Actually, Laya was started in 1985, where Tongamodugala is a very small tribal village. During their stay, Dominic and Nafisa, they faced several problems in staying. Also, accommodation, food and everything, they struggled because Dominic and Nafisa came from a city in Mumbai and directly they staying in a tribal village. With the language, there's several problems they faced. Also, they also relaxed because in those times they solved several tribal issues. So after that, I think they stayed around 8-9 months in a tribal village and they shifted to Attathegala in early 1985, early month. Actually, I was joined with Dominic and Nafisa in Laya in 1986 January. So from that time, I used to work with Laya. I met Dominic when I am 16 years old and he played a key role in my life. In those early years, he taught me English and over time, his influence extended far beyond the language lessons. While my mother and father gave me life, but Dominic and Nafisa, who truly gave me guidance and direction, they shaped who I am today. I have close, respectful and meaningful relationship with Dominic. He was not just a boss, but also someone I consult for advice, whatever it was related to my work or my personal matters. His wisdom and insight were invaluable to me, and I learned so much from him. I am proudly to say that my boss was Dominic. Working alongside with him was a joyful experience, and I always admired his vast knowledge. Dominic was like an encyclopedia, always able to offer simple yet effective solutions to my problems. His kindness, people-oriented nature and critical thinking made me a true, unique individual in both professional and personal settings. Dominic was more than just a boss. He was a guide, he was a mentor, and he was a philosopher to me. Now, with a heavy heart, I mourn his passing. I sincerely hope that his soul rests in peace.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमाम्